James again. Welcome all watch nerds out there. This is the first video on my new YouTube channel, and I'm going to give you a few little tips and hints of getting into the vintage watch collecting game. Things that I've learned over the last few years. It's a wonderful hobby. It's so exciting. It's so much fun. And you know, you can actually come out every year maybe with a few more bucks in your pocket than you started. I know my wife likes that. She much prefers me doing this than, you know, collecting miniature, fire engines or trains or sticking little ships in bottles or whatever it may be. So it's a wonderful hobby. So congrats for checking it out. So a few things to think about when you're looking at becoming a vintage watch collector. So a little bit of a history lesson. In the 1960s, Seiko and a couple of other companies came out with the quartz technology, and super efficient, super inexpensive, extremely accurate, and it completely upended the Swiss manufacturing of watches. At that time, and you know, historically over the last almost 200 years, there's been dozens and hundreds of Swiss watch makers. With the advent of quartz, many of them were wiped off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. And I think of all these companies and all the work people that were there, hunched over their workbenches, building these beautiful little timepieces with all these intricate mechanisms, with all these wheels and dials all working in harmony to give you a wonderful little piece of art on your wrist. And unfortunately, many of those are gone, but that actually presents a great opportunity for vintage watch collectors. The other thing that happened in the watch world, obviously, was the advent of the Apple Watch most recently, and that has also had a profound impact on vintage watches and, you know, watches in general. So when we talk about watches, there's really three types. There is mechanical watches, and mechanical means it's either a manual wind or it's wound automatically, generally using a rotor in the movement that moves with the movement of your wrist, and it winds the watch. Awesome technology. And then there's quartz. By the way, quartz is also a great watch to take a look at. There's vintage quartz watches. I love them too. I have a bunch. I'm going to take you through my current collection as it sits today. So that's the history. What to look for. So as I mentioned, all these micro brands were wiped off the face of the earth, but those watches are still out there. So these are these beautiful Swiss made, some German made, some made in France, I think a couple made in England, but primarily Swiss made. And they're out there and they're available. And they're the wonderful technology, these great little movements, as I said, with all these great things working in unison. So keep an eye out for these micro brands. I'm going to post a list of some of the names and you can take a look. So when you're out scoping around flea markets, garage sales, auctions, Facebook, wherever you're looking for them, those are ones to really keep an eye on. Another thing about the micro brands is sometimes when you find them, they may be all marked up. The crystal is all marked up and it looks pretty rough. Don't let that hold you back. Cleaning up a crystal is not a big deal. Most of them are acrylic, even though they call them crystal. There's a product called Polywatch, which is wonderful to use on those watches to clean them up, get that crystal, you know, to a much better state. It's never going to remove all scratches, but it does a nice job. And then I like to use a nice microfiber cloth. I believe this one is called Lucy, from a Lucy company. I'm going to post that below, but it is great. So Polywatch with the microfiber cleans it up beautifully. So you can actually get a really good bargain on a micro brand watch because people think, oh, it's all scratched and everything, so it's not desirable. It actually is totally fine. A really, really important piece though is the size of the watch. So historically watches have been small, and over time they've grown in size. You can see most of my watches here are in that 33, 34 to like 38 millimeter range. That is really important. And when I say that measurement, it's the measurement of the dial before the crown. So it's the measurement across the face of the dial before the crown. That's what the measurement is. So a watch below 32 is not so desirable. It's quite small and it's much more fashionable. As you can see, I'm wearing my tag to have a watch that's a little bit on the bigger side. So stay with a minimum 33 and, you know, maximum whatever. I don't love the new fashion that was going on for a while there in the 2000s or 2010, or whenever it was, where of the mega watch, like the big monster watch on the wrist. Thank goodness I think that's gone away. Because anything above 44, I think just looks, at my preference, we're all different, but I think it looks kind of nutty. Okay, other thing to avoid is ladies' watches. Sorry, ladies, but the cocktail watches of yesteryear are just not popular. This is the only ladies' watch I have in my collection. It's a little bit bigger. It's actually really nice. But the watches, like if you see the ones over on this side, you know, in that 34 or 36 range, perfectly fine for a lady on a lady's wrist. So I consider most vintage watches now really unisex and applicable for any either you know, men or women. So those are the things to watch out for. Thanks for joining this video. It's a great hobby. You know, finding a watch online that's maybe a little bit rough. You can clean it up, as I mentioned, with some of these tools. You can remove the band. You might want to get a tool like this. It comes in every single watchmaker's kit. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a kit, by the way. This is the most important tool. This allows you to remove bands and replace bands. It's absolutely crucial. So you take a beaten up watch, clean it up, put a new band on it. Don't spend a lot of money on the band. You can buy bands inexpensively, have a nice collection of bands, and you're gonna have yourself a beautiful little watch. I like to clean them up, you know, shine them up and use a toothpick to kind of get in and clean out any dirt that might be on the watch. So real quick, my collection as today, I've got sort of my traditional vintage watches, some beautiful brands here. I've got some Longines, some Rado, Johann diving watch, which I absolutely love, from the Black Forest. Here's a chronograph, so that's a unique watch, and there's a lot of chronograph lovers out there. That's a micro brand, Babana, I believe it's called. So you won't see that anymore, but a beautiful watch. If you open up the back of that, you can see a beautiful movement on that watch. On the right-hand side over here is more my quartz side of things. I'm in love with these gold on gold Seikos. I buy them every chance I get. Super popular, high demand. This is a chronograph here, so very popular. But look at the gold on that watch. Isn't that beautiful? I just think it's fantastic. I also am attracted to kind of funky watches, so I've got a Casio chronograph reverse panda. Absolutely love it. And then I got this kind of bizarro deal here, which is a collab between Citizen and Spalding. I love the orange. It pops, it's really beautiful. I like that. That's kind of my go-to. So that's the world I live in. Every watch guy and lady that I speak to, we all have our preferences. We all love different things. It's a wonderful hobby. It's a great community. So subscribe if you like this. I think I have a few subscribers already, which is great because I just started this yesterday. I'll be posting more videos, more what to look for. And my next video will focus specifically on where to find these watches, how to deal with people that are selling watches, how to get connected to other collectors, how to kind of join this community. So I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much. I look forward to putting out more videos very soon. And like a watch does, keep on ticking.